I know it had been a while since I've uploaded, but I just had some personal stuff that I was going through. But I am so back and ready to cover the draft and free agency, and I have a few ideas for videos. But for this video, I am going to do a deep dive into this very tricky and complicated season for our Canucks. I am going to break it down into several sections. The normal stats, the ownership, the management, the coaching and the system, the media, the drama, the injuries, the good, off-season, the questions, the normal stats. Quinn Hughes led the team with 76 points in 68 games. Jake DeBrusk led in goals with 28. Kevin Lankinen led the team with 25 wins and a .902 save percentage. The power play was at 22.5%. And the ALFL PK that was for years, well, that was at 82.5%, easily top 5. The Canucks scored 233 goals and allowed 251. Minus 17 goal differential. The ownership. As fans, we have mixed opinions about the owner Francesco Aquilini. I personally think he wants to win so badly, but I do believe he is influencing the management into trying to get into the playoffs. He wants the revenue from the playoffs. But look at the Sharks and the Blackhawks, who are in a rebuild, and we don't see their owners saying, okay, I need playoffs now so I can get more money. They are building up the right way. Mike Gillis back in the day was looking at a rebuild, but he was canned just because he wanted to do that. In 2018, Trevor Linden wanted to do a rebuild, which was the right time because the Sedins had just retired. But Francisco said no, and then Trevor Linden stepped down. At the first press conference with Rick Takate said rebuild, but after that we did not hear rebuild again. I believe that Francisco said something after. Francisco needs to understand the situation rather than trying to get more money in the playoffs. Management. The management needs to go. I don't understand why they humiliate people who they don't want to keep, like Bruce. My thought is that they don't want people to find a new team. I was disgusted by the comments on Brock Besser from Alvin Post Deadline. I did not get a chance to record my thoughts because I was too busy in India. But, like, how can you do that with a player who gave 8 years in our city? I was in grade 5 when he debuted. I know that he was not your player, but give him respect. And on the other hand, Jesus, Jim Rutherford, what the heck? You should know not to come out into the media and say the locker room is broken. I thought you had 40 years in the business. You should know better. I never had heard anything from you in Pittsburgh, so why come here and start telling the media the behind-the-scenes stuff? The coaching and the system. I personally hate the dump and chase system that Todd put in this season. Like, why would you change your strategy from last year? I remember at last season year-end media availability when Todd said we need to make more on the rush. But I think that the Canucks only had scored less than 10 on the rush goals. Where were they on the rush? Did they even practice shooting on the rush? Rick Takate is not coming back, which is good for Peterson, who will have more flexibility to play east-west. The bad side is the Canucks will have 4 coaches since 2021 to 2022. When will they get some stability in the coaching department? The drama and the media. We all know that J.T. Miller and Elias Peterson were not getting along, and it was for a few years. But in December of 2024, things exploded when the media started talking about this every day, all day. We heard about it non-stop 24/7. The whole thing was basically blown out of proportion. Even after a win, instead of talking about it, all that we heard was JT Miller and Elias Peterson. It was not fair for their teammates and for them not to have focus on the game because of the stupid media coverage. The media should have been focusing more on questions like how will they build on this win and leave the team to fix the situation internally. The injuries. The injuries bug came back again this season. It felt like every other game had someone leave the game because of injury. Some key injuries were Demko, Besser, Peterson and Hughes. What if they had Peterson down the stretch because he had been great for like 2 or 3 weeks before JT Miller injured him in New York? Will they be in the playoffs then? But this season had some good things happen still. Pius Suter, wow. He had 25 goals. Also, stepped up on the top line after PD went down. The PK was actually good in what seemed like forever. DPD came up and looked in place. They should keep their heads up because despite of all the drama and the issues, they still got 90 points. Tom Willander signed his ELC finally after all of the money drama. I expect a big and very aggressive offseason. The team has to address the 2C issue. Maybe replace Brock Besser as much as it hurts to say. Trade, and trade. Show Hughes that he needs to stay. The questions. Beside the Maple Leafs, the Canucks have the second most questions in the league. Will PD bounce back? Can Demko stay healthy? Will Brock be back? How will Foot's systems improve the team? Will Hughes stay? Will the Canucks trade or sign a 2C? What is the management's mindset? Meaning, are they building for a cup or just building to get into the playoffs to lose in the second round? Let me know, what do you guys think about this season overall? Let's have a discussion in the comments. Please subscribe and like. Follow me at Canucks Sub 30,740 on Twitter, Instagram at Harsimran0 and on TikTok at Harsimran Pamar, where I do game previews in Punjabi during the Canucks season, dances and airplane spotting videos.
Read out!